Hello YouTube. It's been a while since I made my last video, but I wanted to make one more video about this subject, and then I want to move on to other subjects, especially about myself, because I want my audience to understand the perspective where I'm coming from, because I feel like a lot of people like to assume some stuff, but they don't want to understand why things are happening, why people get like a worldview, a mentality. Like, why do they have this type of mentality when they're growing up, etc., etc. In my last video, I was discussing how us men, we just observe and react accordingly to our environment. And the saddest thing is that when it comes to women doing stuff like this, like you see in this screenshot right here about a beautiful woman sleeping over 1,000 men, that's purely voluntarily and that's purely on her. Now, if she claims to be the victim, I bet my money that there will be a lot of people supporting her and supporting her quote unquote victimhood, despite the fact that she clearly made a statement before she did the act that she wanted to do this. Like, this was purely voluntary. Nobody is forcing her, unless, of course, there's a conspiracy behind the scenes that she's being human trafficked. But so far, what I'm seeing, or what the audience are seeing, we're not seeing none of that. We're seeing that this is a purely voluntarily act. And in my last video, I discussed how, what a guy in his right mind wants to marry this woman after sleeping 1,000 dudes. Like, this beautiful woman destroyed herself, and this is purely voluntarily. Now, reason why I made a screenshot about this, and again, I want to continue talking about this subject, but this will be my last video about it. This screenshot is from Better Bachelor of his thumbnail, and he was talking about an article that recently popped up, basically the aftermath of her sleeping with 1,000 dudes. And the article was stating that her OnlyFans literally got taken down. Like, her stunt of sleeping with 1,000 men was taken down, and it became a little controversial topic about it. In my honest opinion, I think OnlyFans did something good right there, but at the same time, OnlyFans is encouraging this type of degeneracy. Like, literally, first of all, her sleeping with 1,000 men, the act itself is degenerate. And it's very sad because this woman did it voluntarily, and she's gonna psychologically destroy herself. And as I stated throughout my YouTube channel, guys, that the act of sleeping with somebody is very sacred. The very act of sleeping with somebody gets you a genuine human connection with another person. And if you end up sleeping around with a bunch of people, it doesn't matter if you're male or female, if you end up sleeping around with a bunch of people, you will destroy your ability to humanely have a deep connection with somebody else. Why do you think there's so many articles, so many psychology reviews showing that people who wait before they sleep with each other before marriage, they tend to have a happy marriage, but most importantly, their marriage is very satisfying, and the likelihood of divorce is an all-time low. Now, versus people who sleeps around and then they end up getting married later, the likeliness of divorce is super high. And there's a good reason behind that. It's because the act of sex itself is a sacred act. It's a biology act. It's not just a biology, but it's also a spiritual and to some point a mentality act. Like, you're literally creating a human bond with another human being through the act of sex itself. And if you end up sleeping around with people, you're going to destroy that ability to connect. That's why I'm starting to believe in that stuff, that, the religious act of, well, not religious act, but the religious belief that sex itself is very sacred. It should not be messed around with. It should not be toyed with. But anyway, back to this topic of this video. Essentially, what I'm trying to say here, guys, is that women like her is just adding fuel to the fire. And what's even sadder is that as she does this voluntarily, later in the future, she's gonna suffer consequences that she's not foreseen, and she's gonna play the victim about it. But the saddest thing is that being the victim is essentially, what's the best way to put it? I know you guys probably hear this over and over again when it comes to women behaving like this, but she's not gonna take accountability for her action. And any guy who is smart enough and has self-respect would not get near with this woman, despite her beauty. Like, there, people who are smart and have an ounce of self-respect, they're not gonna commit to this woman because she voluntarily destroyed herself. Just like, best way I could put it, a dangerous flame that's gonna burn you if you get too close. And the men who slept with her, they're just looking for a quick action. Nothing special, basically. And it's kind of sad that we see a woman like her destroy herself, but also destroying her reputation. Like, OnlyFans literally banned her video because she kind of like took it a little too far. And I don't know why she's very prideful about it, but eventually she's gonna learn that there's a huge difference between accountability and consequences, which is the biggest thing that a woman refuses to learn. Women in general, they kind of refuse to learn the difference between accountability and consequences. And majority of the time, consequences go after them. They maybe dodge accountability, but there's a huge difference. And I have a feeling a lot of people are going to learn that the hard way. But anyway, back to the subject of the video. Essentially what I'm trying to say here, guys, and what I'm trying to say of my last couple of videos is this. Women, they're willing to become degenerate. They're willing to destroy themselves, destroy their marriage, their family, all because they want to. All because it's purely voluntarily. And the whole reason why we're seeing singlehood of older women is because of this. Now, what's even sadder is that if you look at this woman, well, I understand that everyone has different tastes, different opinion, but this woman, she's not that, she's not ugly, she's not like mid-tier. She's honestly kind of beautiful, but a woman like this, with that caliber of beauty, doing stuff like this is very haunting, very terrifying. And in my last couple of videos, I was mentioning about this adult actress who got into the industry all because she was bored and she was financially well off. But she did it because she wanted some, how do I say this? She wants to play out her fantasy, and she admitted that she enjoyed it. She enjoyed it of getting violated by a bunch of dudes on camera, and it was all independent adult film. See, what I'm trying to say, guys, is that basically be careful out there. Be careful with the woman that does this, because if she does this voluntarily, I cannot imagine how she's gonna destroy you in the long run, which is why we keep saying a lot of terrible stories of divorces, of guys getting wrecked in the divorce court. And this correlates to why a lot of younger men are not getting married, and some younger men, they're not even bothering, looking out for dates anymore, which I'll make a video later. But for now, I'm just gonna end it here. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. I hope you guys understand the message that I'm trying to say. And what's even sadder is that these last couple of videos that I've been posting on YouTube, it's nothing new. Literally, it's nothing new, guys. All you have to do, if you want to understand where I'm coming from, is simply go outside, see it for yourself, socialize, and see the insanity of what women do when they're, you know, acting degenerate acts. One of my favorite podcasts is when people interview bouncers in the clubs, and almost every single bouncers tells insane stories what women do, and because of the witness, like what they literally see what's going on in the club, a lot of bouncers, they're very cautious what type of woman they date. Like, literally. It's all about perspective, guys, and it's all about experience too. What I'm saying here is nothing new. Like, society is literally getting worse and worse, especially in the marriage and dating category. And it's kind of sad when you hear stories about, you know, popular stuff like the club and bouncers. They're forever haunted and probably suffer minor PTSD of what women do. Even people that I knew who went to clubs, they witnessed a lot of crazy stuff, especially when a woman is like doing drugs and trying to have sex with a guy in the club, which is kind of funny, but at the same time bizarre. Well, guys, sorry I ranted, but yeah, gonna end it here. Hope you enjoyed this video and stay safe out there and have a good week. Goodbye.